All right. Happy Monday. Welcome to another Monday Mindset. It's December 15th. We're almost to the end of the year. I just tried to go live and it felt like it launched, but it did not. So I exited out of that and went live again. Hopefully you guys had a great weekend. I was sharing, it snowed here in Philly, so I think we got like 7 inches here in Philly. And took my kids sledding for the first time. It was pretty awesome. They had an incredible time sledding, which was great. I want to talk to you guys about 2026 marketing and what maybe you should be doing for your marketing plan coming into 2026. Hopefully you have your goals already set out. If you don't, that is the number one most important thing to do, because it is very hard to hit a target that you don't define or that you don't know exist. And the whole purpose of setting a goal and setting a target is so you can reverse engineer the activities that you need to do in order to hit that target, and it keeps you accountable and moving towards the goal that you want to hit. So I want to talk to you about marketing for 2026 and just give you kind of a window into some of the stuff that we're doing. So my brother and I, we have Acre Brothers Realty down in Virginia, and from a small business standpoint, I'll just share with you kind of what we're doing marketing-wise in that business, because I think a lot of it translates, and you should think the same for your database and what you're marketing to, but also give you some other ideas that I'm hearing from people. But we're trying to, of course, generate more referral and repeat business. I'm sure you are trying to generate more referrals and more renewals from your book of business, as well as generate just brand new prospects by building a brand. And the $1 million question always is, well, how much money should you spend on your marketing? And the rule of thumb out there in marketing world is that at least 10% of your revenue should be spent back into marketing. And that's if you're just in maintain mode. If you're in growth mode, a lot of people would recommend spending 20, 25%, even 30% of your revenue back into marketing to help you capture market share. So everybody's going to be at a little bit of different place based upon your business and your needs, but a good rule of thumb is that you should at least be spending 10%. So if you're making $100,000 or whatever, you should be thinking, okay, my marketing budget's going to be around $10,000 that I'm spending in order to grow my brand. And the way I always think about it is you always start with the most important, which is your database. And those are your sphere. That's your current clients, the people that you've worked with in the past, your friends and family. The reason why that is because you're in a relationship-based business, not because everybody wants to have a really deep relationship with their insurance agent, right? But the reality is relationships signify trust. And people buy from people they trust. Trust is the ultimate currency you're going after, because if you can have the highest degree of trust in your profession, you'll probably earn the business. And so a relationship is just a way for you to solidify trust with people, because they get to know who you are. They get to know about your family and your core values. So what you're really after is trust. And you need to be thinking with your database, well, how do I build trust with this database? Now, we all know, I never have to convince an agent in insurance, that you need to keep in touch with your database. All of you guys know that. The question is not should you, just how do you do it? How do you keep in touch in a way that's effective, that's cost effective, and then most importantly is like automated and stuff that your clients will actually appreciate receiving from you. And that's where our focus at Reminder Media has been. You guys know I run Reminder Media, the marketing company. Our goal has been, how do we help agents in all spectrums? So we work with accountants, attorneys, car dealers, caterers, interior designers, but our biggest industries are real estate and insurance and financial professionals. And how do we help you keep in touch with your database? And I've gone out, and talked at conferences, and you guys have heard me talk on here that it is almost impossible to do too many touch points to your database. It's almost impossible. Most people do way too little. So with Acre Brothers, we set up to do over 200 touch points a year to our database. But the key is we're not trying to do 200 touch points of one thing. We want omni-channel marketing. This is what you want in 2026. You want omni-channel marketing to your database. Omni-channel just means 2 or more channels hitting your database. So here's what we're doing for our database that you guys can think about doing for yours. So our flagship is our magazine. So we send out the magazine 6 times a year. This is American Lifestyle. We have a health one for insurance and finance. We have a home one if you're into property casualty. But these go out 6 times a year, so every 2 months they're hitting the database. We track the shelf life to be around 4 to 6 weeks in the home. We track the referral rate over the course of 6 issues, which is a year, to be about 31%. But the key to the magazine, that whether you use a magazine or not, here's your big takeaway for 2026. You need a touch point that you do for your clients that gives you the ability to have a human-to-human interaction. A phone call where you can talk to them, a face-to-face interaction where you can see them, but you need some human-to-human connection. Because this, even though it's a nice gift, it's better than a postcard or just an email sent, it's still passive. It's still a billboard in the home. You're still requiring that person to see it and engage with it and then take action from it. And so what you want to try to do is set yourself up to where not only can you have the billboard in the home with whatever touch point you're sending to your database, but it leverages or gives you the leverage to be able to have a human-to-human interaction. And so what we do is quarterly, we will call clients behind the magazine. So we'll use the magazine as our reason to call. Hey, Joe, was thinking about you, man. The reason why you popped in my mind, we haven't caught up in a while. I just got my latest issue of Good to Be Home. It reminded me I'm sending it to you as a gift. I send it to all my best relationships, man. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Megan and I, we try to put recipes in it that we think you will like. How's life been going? How's the family? And it gives us at A Group Brothers a non-salesy reason to call the database. Now think about that. So that's 6 touches right there that are going out in the mailbox, 1 frequency. Quarterly phone calls, that's 4 phone calls to our database. Now that's another frequency, and that's a human-human connection. Why is that important? Because when there's a human-human connection, it takes me from just being the insurance agent businessman to being actually Luke the person. And if I can get into Luke the person bucket with all of my database, then more than likely I will show up in their mind share better than just the transactional person. I will create trust better than just the transactional person. And the 2 things you need is you need trust and you need visibility. People need to trust you and they need to think about you. And so everything I'm trying to do database wise is to hit my database with ways that give me visibility and credibility. And so the magazine is my first, that's 6. Then I had 4 phone calls, so now I have those going out. The other thing that Acre Brothers do that is a staple behind our kind of sphere marketing is we do client events. And so I would greatly encourage you to think about doing a client event this year for your whole database. We do 4 client events a year. So our first one we do is usually in March, usually March 14th. We do pie on Pie Day, where we are giving out free pies to our core database. And there's a couple things we're trying to accomplish here. We get to invite people to get a free pie. They can come by the office. We give them out a free pie. It's kind of unique because normally people give out pies around the holidays and stuff like that. This is totally random in March. We're giving out a pie. Not only that, we use it as a way to collect testimonials. All of our client events we use as a way to collect testimonials. Moving into 2026, what is already present is AI is taking over a big portion of search. So people are no longer going to Google or Bing or these other search engines to search. They're going to AI. So it's capturing market share. How does AI choose you as the insurance professional that it would recommend? And the 2 things that we know of as of now, again, it's changing all the time, but the 2 things we know of, one is it looks towards reviews. So it looks on sites like Fast Expert and Google Business Profile and all these sites that capture reviews, and it uses that to determine should I recommend Joe Campert to someone who's searching for help with property casualty or whatever insurance. And it looks at your reviews for proof. So you need a lot of reviews. So I remember, and I've shared this before, when we were trying to get our Google off the ground with Acre Brothers, we didn't have a lot of reviews, and we used the pie event to ask people after we gave them a pie for clients that we've worked with, hey, would you mind giving us a review on Google? We got like 69 5-star reviews that day. And so it's a great way for you to capture reviews for the profiles that are out there that you need to get reviews on. But the other thing that it allows you to do is it allows you to engage face-to-face with your clients. So think about the frequencies of omni-channel. You have a print piece going in the mailbox. You have a phone call happening to your clients. You're giving them a physical good like a pie. You're interacting with them face-to-face. So first event we do is a pie event. Second event we do is a summer kind of barbecue. So we've rented out a park before and done hot dogs and hamburgers, invited people, and we'll have maybe a Kona ice truck or stuff like that. We did a pool party this in year 2025 where we invited a bunch of people to we rented out a pool, and it was a summer barbecue pool party, had a bunch of people show up for that. But that's a great way. Again, what do I get? Face-to-face interaction, invitations going out. We send postcard invitations, email invitations. We post on social. We get phone calls to invite clients. So we get all those touches happening per client event. You got 4 to 5 touches happening per client event that's going on that are natural, that are non-salesy, that get your brand in front of them, but what are value driven, right? If you want to show up in the minds of people, you need like the two V's, volume and value. If I can get volume and volume and volume of touch, but also value, I rise in the mind of that client. Client events are an easy way to do that. Third event we do is we rent out an ice cream kind of shop. Doesn't cost that much money, and everybody can come get free ice cream for like 4 hours. We've rented out the shop. And then here to close out the year, the last event we do is we rent out an ice skating ring. So we rent out this ice skating rink for a couple hours, and we invite families and all of our people in our database. They can come do ice skating, get pizza, cookies, drinks, all that stuff. And that's usually half a day where we've done that. And again, all these invitations and phone calls and seeing them face to face all happen over that time frame. And then we take all those things that we get and we use that in our marketing, right, to showcase to our clients, and we follow up with people and thank them for coming to the event. So if you go, wow, okay, 6 magazines hitting, then they have 4 client events. Every client event has like 5 touches that go with it where they're hitting their clients. Then we do, the third thing we do is called like a proof mailer. So we want to showcase to people, like there's multiple ways to build trust. Trust comes through client testimonials. Hint, hint, get client testimonials at your client events. But the other way that builds trust is accolades, showing to people proof that you are winning on behalf of your clients. How do you show clients that you have won for other clients and you can win for them? And so what we do is like proof-based mailers where we'll send out, like one we do is a thank you at the end of the year, where we send out thank you to the number of families that we were able to help and serve this year. So it brags about how many people we were able to help. We do other proof-based mailers where we share kind of, it's almost like a story of what happened. So here's what was going on, and this is the solution we found. If you need a solution like this, let us know. So you could do that in insurance and real estate. They do it oftentimes around the listing. So, hey, client was struggling to list their home and get the price they wanted. We took over, stepped in. We did XYZ from a marketing standpoint and got the home listed and sold for over ask for 30 grand extra. We can do the same for you. Want to know what your home's worth. So there's like those type of proof-based things that you can send out. We usually do 4 of those a year. Then we have email marketing. So if you're tracking, I got 6 magazines going out, 4 quarterly phone calls, 4 client events with usually 5 to 6 touches per event, from phone calls to face-to-face interaction to invitations. Then we have 4 base proof mailers that go out. And then we have our email digital side. So we usually do a monthly newsletter where we're sending out things in a newsletter. I mean, anything you can think of. There's market stuff in there to things happening in the community to proof-based testimonials, but that usually goes out once a month. Bi-weekly, we send a local events email newsletter. So all this we automate through Reminder Media's platform, but we do every 2 weeks. We're curating the local events happening in the area. We send that out to our database. Here's what's happening in Lynchburg, Virginia in the next 2 weeks. And it's a great mailer that people like to open because they like to know what's going on in the community, but it brands Steven and the team right there. And then we have our digital magazine that also goes out. So these people are usually receiving 3 emails from us a month, if not 4, depending on the month. Coming from us. And then the goal is, then we post on social, and Steven and them have a goal to try to post on social 3 times a week at least, where they're up on social 3 times a week. And if you add up all these touches from the emails going out to the mailers in the magazine and the proof-based mailers and the invitations, and you add up the phone calls and the interactions and the social posts, it's over 200 touch points that are happening to the database. But we rarely, if ever, get people asking us, oh, please stop reaching out to me so much. Please remove me from the list. We rarely get that. Why? Because it's spread across an omni-channel of frequencies. So we're hitting these people that many times across all these different channels. So it's always in front, but never overwhelming. And the key here for all of you, if you're listening to this and you're like, wow, this is so overwhelming, start simple and start with a touch point that allows you to call your clients. So something that happens at least once a quarter that you send to your database that you're able to call. So we have that going on for our sphere. Then we turn around and we do Google advertising and we do Facebook advertising. So we do Facebook ads. Usually we spend around $20,000 to $25,000 on Facebook ads, generating leads from Facebook ads. There's a whole nother Monday Mindset I could probably do on Facebook advertising. But then we do Google pay-per-click, where we're spending around the same, around $20,000 on Google as well. And our theory is we want to get out in the community brand-wise with Facebook ads, Google's, generate leads that go into the bucket to get nurtured to move them into the database. Because if the database is where all my business comes from, all my business comes from people who know, like, and trust me, from referrals, from repeat business, from people who get to that point where they're like, yeah, I want to use Luke because I see him as the credible figure. I need to keep filling that database up. So I need that database to be as big as possible. So I'm nurturing my database with over 200 touch points, and I'm constantly trying to fill it up with new people from Google and Facebook. And so our marketing plan usually revolves around heavy database. And then how do we grow that database through Google or Facebook advertising? You might do it by buying leads. You buy new leads from certain lead vendors that are out there. There's a lot of great ones out there. But you're trying to fill that database. But the key is, don't live in instant gratification world, right? We buy a lead, we definitely want to convert. But what about all the leads that you didn't convert? How do you nurture them, right? A no's not a never. How do you put them on a non-costly, or a cost-effective, I should say, drip with email or text or things like that, where you can drip on them so they can become part of your database that gets known, like, and trusted. So that gives you just a window into a lot of the stuff that we're doing. The big takeaway I want for all of you is that the key really is twofold: volume and then credibility. So you want volume of touch and you want credibility. Credibility usually comes through value, and value is usually driven through relationship, or you have solved a problem or answered a question for people, right? I didn't even give you guys the second thing that AI looks for. AI looks for testimonials. The second thing it looks for is answers to the question that was asked. AI is very question asked in the chat. Go out there to the web. What's the closest thing that looks identical to this question asked for an answer? And so I would encourage you, write all your blogs and stuff like that in a Q&A type format, because that is being favored by AI. But the point being is, like, the same with value delivered. The relationship can deliver value. Getting to know people, being there for people, interacting with people emotionally and having a great time together. But then there's the value of answering questions for them, and that will raise your trust. So there you have it. There's a quick Monday mindset for you of thinking about your marketing plan. You got your goals set. You're trying to reverse engineer your activities, what you should be doing marketing-wise, how much money you should spend, how many touches should you do. That just gives you a window into some of the things that we do. Reminder Media, we do this for clients all the time. So if you're looking for a way to automate your marketing, reach out to me, hit me up here. I would love to talk to you. Get out there and win this week for you, for your family, for your clients. Let's get out there and win. Happy Monday. Let's make it happen.